Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here on the Hagenstedt map. Let's get back to reliving the glory days. The rules in this particular series are not meant to be adhered to by any particularly by strong means. Like I'm just kind of doing what I want in this series. That's fortunate, it just went past 9. I just about run out of money then. Right. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to just square up the edge of this field a little bit more. So, I'm not doing massive amounts of it, but I am just smoothing out a little tiny bit more to give me just a little bit more room here to make that field just another couple of passes wider. That's all I really wanted, was just to be able to move it up to about there. So I'm not going to be able to do the full width of the road. It's going to be about where I've worked up to. But I reckon that'll be about right there, I'd say. And then we will switch over to a little bit of grass. So I'll just put that going there so I'm not ploughing up rock, because I don't like doing that. It looks weird. And we'll put a bit of grass up through there. There we go. And also put a bit down through here. All the way up there. Okay. Bit rough and ready, but that's fine. We don't want to spend too long on that. So yeah, I personally, there's no way I would watch a Let's Play on a game that I've been eagerly anticipating. I just wouldn't do it. It's absolutely, definitely no way would I go and do that. Maybe afterwards, if it's someone that I really like, if I really like their content, then yeah, I'd watch it afterwards. After the fact, I would go back and I would watch it. But I definitely would not watch it before the game came out, because to me, that would spoil the experience of getting into the game myself. So I've always been quite like that. It's like World of Warcraft, when a new expansion was coming out. I'm just not into World of Warcraft the way that I used to be. I still like the game, but like I used to get a lot more excited about that. So I think kind of a lot of people say that the game itself has died and has changed. I'm not so sure about that. I think mainly it's just because I've kind of moved on from there. I've played that game so much, I've kind of gotten a little bit fed up with it. I still enjoy the game. It's just doesn't quite hold the same attraction for me that it once did, that's all. But anyway, when a new expansion came out, I was very, very careful about where I went and what I did. Any gaming groups that I belonged to on Facebook, I would mute them for, like, in the last month when content is really starting to be released. The videos are spamming everywhere about, you know, because you got certain YouTubers who are able to get into the content a lot earlier. I avoid that. I mute the gaming groups I belong to so that I don't get any spoilers. And I really, really make sure that I can't see any information about the upcoming expansion. So every bit of it, for me, is a surprise when I get to it. I don't know the storyline beforehand. Some people go into it and they absolutely know the whole storyline before they get to it. It's a bit like reading a book. There are two groups of people when it comes to reading a book. Group 1 is the type that do not want to know anything. They read the book from cover to cover and they absolutely enjoy it. And yeah, that's I can hear a lot of you saying, well, that's kind of what everybody does with a book. Well, no, not everybody, because there is a group of people who will skip. They'll start reading the book. They might like read the first chapter, but then they will skip to the very last chapter in the book, or the last couple of pages, and find out what happens at the end of the story before they do too much more. And so they will find out the end of the story first, and then they'll go back and they will read the rest of it. So they know sort of who makes it, the rough outcome, who's died in the story, and so on, because they don't want that to be a shock to them as they're reading the book. I wonder why I was sort of drifting off course here. Drifting off course because I didn't actually engage the GPS. So let's try engaging the GPS here a little minute. Try that. See if that makes any difference. There we go. Look at that. Staying the course now. So yeah, and I know quite a few people that need to go and read the last few pages of the book before they can settle down and enjoy the book. And it's the same. I mean, if it's a film that I'm not particularly into anyway, I will do it with a film, but generally with films I don't. Very often what it'll be is I'll start watching a film, and if I'm not particularly fussed with the film, rather than having to sit through the rest of it, I'll just go and read the synopsis, and then I'm like, all right, okay, yeah, I can, because if a film is not that great for me, sitting through the rest of it isn't going to provide me with any additional entertainment. I've already seen the characters, I've already seen how the actors are portraying those characters, and I don't need anything on top of that. All I need from that point on is literally just, right, this is the story, and then I can picture the characters doing all of that, the actors saying their lines and doing their bit, and I've got it, it all just pans out in my head just with a quick scan through the synopsis. So I don't need any more than that, and very often I'll do that with a film that I was never particularly taken with anyway. With a book, there are a few times when I've gone and read the last chapter, purely just to see if it's actually worth my time struggling through any more of it. But usually that's only when I don't particularly like the book. Other than that, I don't like to do that. I like it to come as a surprise to me. So if someone is going to die halfway through the book, or if someone is going to, you know, switch sides or do something quite miraculous or something along those lines, I don't want to know about it before it happens. I want it to be a surprise to me as I read the book. But some people just don't like that. Some people don't like that kind of surprise. They like to be prepared beforehand. They want to know first what's going to happen, and then they can actually enjoy it. And so it's the same with gaming. And it'd be the same with FS22. There's plenty of people who want to know everything about the game before they get it, and then they know what choices to make as they go through the game. And it's because quite often it's the same sort of people that don't like a game being open-ended. And Farming Simulator is very much an open-ended game. Now, you can enjoy an open-ended game, even if you're not the sort of person that likes that. If you like a sort of a more hand-holding experience, now I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. The hand-holding experience, so many people that just sneer at the concept of the hand-holding gaming experience, but there's not something to be sneered at. It's something that a lot of people really like, and there are certain types of games where I really like that as well. I like a driven narrative that directs me and instructs me how I should go through the game, rather than just saying, right, here's the world, you do what you want. So especially if you don't really know what you're doing with the game, it's a lot more difficult to get into it and have any level of enjoyment from it if you're just thrown in at the deep end. So I really can understand and sympathize with people that don't like that. And so when it comes to something like Farming Simulator, okay, I don't think there's any sharp edges on there now. I do want to just change this over here, but I want rock on the edge of that. So like Farming Simulator is very much a sandbox game. It doesn't have any, well, I was going to say, it's not, it doesn't have any, it just doesn't have much in the way of a hand-holding experience. There are some instructions for it, but it's not like a string of missions that you go and follow. It's not like a long storyline that you go and follow. It's pretty much an open sandbox. Now, the open sandbox aspect is what appeals to so many people, but it's also the reason that so many people don't particularly care for the game. The whole open sandbox concept is just something that they don't enjoy. It's just not a gameplay type that they particularly like. And so someone who does want to play a game like Farming Simulator but doesn't overly enjoy the sandbox experience and wants a little bit more in the lines of hand-holding, very often a way round it that a person like that would go is watching a Let's Play or something and then following what the person is doing in the Let's Play. So they would very much be a type of person who would go into the game not knowing very much, well, go into the game but want to know about the game beforehand. So they would follow every video, see every tutorial, see everything that they possibly could before they bought the game, so that when they get it, they then have a much better idea of the best course of action. So we want to buy this field first, then we want to expand a little bit, we want to aim for this tractor next, and you're not having to be bogged down with making a load of difficult decisions early in the gameplay and then wondering about whether or not you've made the right decision or the wrong decision. You just settle back and you can enjoy the game. So there's a lot of different types of people, which means there's a lot of different types of players. I'm curious what type of players and people are watching. So get in the comments section and tell me a little bit about it. I know I've been doing a lot of ploughing in this one. We're nearly done with the ploughing. We've marked out the edges on a lot of it, and we've done the bulk of it now. I'm just going to bring that one on round, and we're going to head back up across. I'm going to have a drink a minute. That's better. Right. So yeah, there's as many different ways of playing the game as there are people who play the game. There's no right and wrong way of doing it. I'm curious what your preferred style of playing is. What is your chosen style? What are your preferences? Do you like watching a lot of information beforehand and finding out everything there is to know about the game so you can make the best informed decisions for everything that you do before you start playing it? Or do you just kind of like to wing it a little bit more and make those decisions on the fly as you play the game? For a game like Farming Simulator, I don't think it impacts your gameplay experience quite as much as some other games do. I'm kind of a bit close going another track next to the wall here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Why not? Let's live life dangerously, shall we? Let's pop that one down there. I got a feeling I might regret this. I will see. We may regret doing this line here. This may be one too many. This may be Frithgar's Folly right here. Yeah, and if you do like to, well, this is not if you. What do you like? How do you like to play the game? Do you like everything to sort of be narrative led? I mean, for me personally, like, this is an open sandbox. I don't tend to worry too much about my choices in it. I just kind of like wing it. If I'm playing an RPG game, I don't like, and that's the one of the big games, types of game that I do play a lot of. But different RPG games I get into at different times, and there's various different ones that I've played. And they're all, I generally play them along a similar vein. I will start playing them, and I will try to make all of my decisions based on the material available within the game. Invariably, at some point, I will hop over to Google and start questioning how I should do different things. I try to avoid doing that. I do genuinely try to avoid doing that, just because, I don't know, it doesn't feel, I don't feel like I should be doing it. I always feel guilty about it, to put it that way. I feel guilty about it. I shouldn't feel guilty about it. It's not actually anything to feel guilty about, but I still do feel guilty about popping onto Google and trying to find out the best ways of doing certain things, or what choices I should make at certain points in the game. But I don't generally do that until I reach that point in the game. So I still avoid spoilers, and then I get asked to make a decision. I'm like, ooh, this could actually be a tough choice. This feels like it could have consequences for me later on. So then I will go and Google and see if, how bad these consequences are going to be. Right, I'm going to bring that back there. There's quite a few rough spots just in there, so I'm hoping I've gotten rid of them now. Does mean I'm going to have to do a little bit more ploughing. This one, you know, I'm actually just going to stop there. I'm not going to do any more. So we've got one little strip out. And I was thinking of doing another little tiny strip out from there, but I won't do that just yet. I'm going to go over here. Think I can get away with just doing this bit. So if I go there like that, drop in the plow. It's going to, yes, it is actually going to meet up on that side. So I will just go up to there. This is what's going to happen if we have this field with, like, we've got that little bit of a corner in there. It feels a little bit wrong leaving that bit of a corner in there, but I think it's going to be alright. Like, yeah, that'll still give me my square fields in here. I mean, really, I shouldn't have done that last plough line I did. I should have left that one as well, but what's done is done, so we'll work with that. Over this way. Go up through there, and then it'll be one back again. I might do another half of one. Just a little tiny bit close to that. Oh, I don't know. No. Okay, let's not do that. Let's not get greedy. We don't want to go too close to the road. We want to stay away from the road. So I am going to do this one pass right here. So there is this little bit right here that we're potentially getting a bit greedy on. If I lift this out of the ground, it'll probably be better. So I'm actually going to bring it there like that. Lower that one down, and I'm going to bring it in across like this, there. There we go, like that. And move up that way, and then going to you. Move over here like this. And that's all I got to do. So then I can run up through here. Okay, I'm definitely not going to go out any further than that. So we've got this side done. We've got that side. The only bit that we've kind of got to tidy up is the far end down there. And I just got to fill in a few gaps on this bit here. So, I mean, this gap here is going to be easy enough to go and do. So if we go Control S like that, 90 degrees there. And pop you in like that. Plough into the ground. We've got a couple of passes along here to go and do. Yeah, so I've always kind of had this thing where I end up feeling a little bit guilty about going and doing my research as I go through the game, because I still want to play the game well. I try to avoid doing that. I try to just kind of like wing it as I go along, but I'll get to a point and I'll be like, this feels like it's a major decision, and it sort of feels like if I make a bad choice here, it's the kind of thing that could end up impacting my enjoyment of the game for the next 30 or 40 hours. Do I want to do this going in blind, or do I want to turn to the internet for some answers? And so very often I will turn to the internet for answers just to see what other people have done, and then usually my initial suspicions are confirmed as an important decision, or I find out, well, actually it doesn't really make a lot of difference which way you do it. You've got to choose one path or the other, and they've both got their pros and cons, and then you'll sort of find out later on. It's usually, though, if it's a decision that I know I can't sort of undo quickly and easily, or I can't change my mind on it, I find it... I mean, I can go and play on... You know, a lot of RPG games, you play the game, and you can play it in whatever style you want. You've usually got a lot of dialogue options, so you can choose how you want to portray your character. And you can choose certain dialogue options that would give you certain choices, or would limit your choices on different things as you go through the game. And personally, I find it quite difficult to play as a character that is completely different than me personally. Like, I like to sort of have the similar options to what I would want in real life. And I know very often if you get to a point in a game where you've got to make some major decision, I could be forced down a road where I'm going to have to play a character or do a series of missions that I wouldn't necessarily choose to do myself, and therefore I don't enjoy them quite as much. It's very much along, with a lot of RPG games, you've got the whole lawful good, neutral, chaotic good, evil, chaotic, evil, all of these kinds of different alignments. You got character alignments, and whilst there are some alignments that I can play without too much trouble, there are other alignments that I genuinely struggle to play, and I don't get much enjoyment out of it at all. And it's games that could have pushed me towards playing an alignment that I don't really want to play if I make a wrong decision. And you can usually tell where that's going to happen. We don't have to worry about such things in Farming Simulator. It's never an issue. We absolutely don't need to concern ourselves with what alignment we're going to be forced to play. We don't have to make the decision as to whether or not we help the beggar and give them a few coins, or if we chop his hand off just for a laugh and then sell the hand to a merchant later on, calling it, artifact from a rare and ancient species, and because the beggar hadn't been able to wash himself for quite some time, the hand was, rather grim looking, and the nails were all sort of gnarled, and so it didn't necessarily look like it was 100% human even, and you make a little bit of money out of conning the merchant as well. Not necessarily something that I would want to go and do. There are some things that I would find quite amusing and enjoyable, but that doesn't necessarily rank up there with them. Now, this line right here, that's going to be too far out, I think. Like, getting a combine around this corner is why I'm thinking I was too greedy just there. Because getting a combine around this corner onto here, I think, could potentially cause us problems. Right up to there. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go Control, Alt, page down, and I'm going to just move that in a little bit like that. And then I'm going to Alt X, join that one in. And then we're going to do a line up across here. So we're going to bring that one back into that corner. A bit more about there. Yeah, that'll do. And we'll go along here. So, because I'm leaning over the side and I've sort of got part of this ploughed and part of it not, it does tend to... See, it's just done it again, twice. The plough bounces. I don't like the way the plough bounces when the tractor bounces a little bit. Well, I think the plough is bouncing a little bit anyway. That should be okay. I mean, that corner is going to be a little bit tight, so we may later on use the landscaping and just alter that out a little bit, just kind of smooth it out a little bit more than it is right now. Bring you up to there like that. Turn round, so we've got a little bit here, a little bit. There's just this field down this end that we need to do. So I'm going to... that bit in there, and then we can go and start working on... We've got a lot of other stuff to do yet. We are going to want to plant this field up. It's going to have to be planted up with barley. And then we've got a whole load of other things that we want to go and do as well, such as getting our straw harvest done, and getting the silage done. We got to clamp the silage. We were talking about possibly buying some other silage things, but we have to clamp it now. We have no money. We went and bought all of our solar panels. I mean, if we fast forward time an hour or two, we're going to have plenty of money. It's not like we're going to run out. But right now, we don't have vast quantities of it. So, I'm just going to bring you round again. I'm back recording again in another recording round. And this time, I do actually have my steering wheel attached. So, we're just going to finish up the little bit of ploughing around here. And then we are going to... get the planting underway, which we've got quite a bit of planting. Actually, I'll tell you what, Missed a little bit over there as well. Okay. Let's leave this for a second, and we will... Oh, no. Before we can do planting, we've got to pick all of this up, haven't we? So, yeah, we'll stay... I completely forgot about that. Right, okay. Well, in which case, we will stay working on this, and we will get this little bit finished, and then we will start planting this one while we're picking up straw in the bigger fields. There's a little bit there that... Oh no, it was just one little tiny bit where he kind of bounced a little bit. It does that thing where if you've got one wheel off in the plowed ground, the plow behind does tend to bounce around quite a bit. With these types of plows, with the sort of traditional longer plow with the mold boards, it doesn't generally do that. It seems to get by just fine without having to worry about it. So I'm going to bring that one around there and drop in the plow. So we've got one more pass on this bit. We're a little bit down the end. And then we have a brand new, huge, great big field. So our next round of money that we get will be going to cows. We're going to get more cows, and probably we're going to end up getting another field for the cows as well. I am going to be getting a baler, and we'll start doing some stuff with bales up on the fields rather than the what we got at the moment. I'm pretty sure I said I was going to get a new trailer, which I don't think I've got, and I can't actually remember where the trailers were. Are they on this one? It's an auto-load trailer for bales, which is actually a really good auto-load trailer for bales that I've started using in the time-lapse series, and it works really, really well. It's absolutely fantastic. It does also work with these bales here from the Big Pack, which is absolutely brilliant. But flatbed semi-squares... Right, it's not those. That's round bales, square bales, big... Okay, I'm not quite sure what those are. But those aren't the ones I'm talking about. No, so I don't have them here. I've forgotten to make sure that the mod is in. Not that it really matters. We'll be able, there's plenty of auto-load trailers that we can use. I've got some auto-load trailers there that we can go and use. And I'm pretty happy with using 20k bales. I know that it means that we're not going to be picking up very much. I know that with some of you were sort of feeling that maybe 20k was a little bit excessive, but if, like, overall, I think 20k is not actually all that bad. It's, we're still doing baling, we're still picking bales up. It's just that it's going to give us a bit more, if we got 20k, we'll save a little bit of time, and we won't be spending hours and hours gathering up bales, which is going to be a really good thing. That is definitely going to be a bonus, because when you've got 300 bales on the floor, it's quite time consuming to have to go and get them all. That's the thing with it, is it does take quite a bit of time to go and pick up 300 bales. Now, this bit over here, I think we actually need to just reconsider this bit here a little, just on this corner. Quite sure how much reconsidering we want to do, but I do know that I want to go in here. I want to go into landscaping like this, and first up we're going to go over this side, and we're just going to... Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.